This is part 7 on unbecoming the first lady. So just small recap. I dated somebody that I met online, if you want to call it dating. He was married, separated pastor with a dark side. There was verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, and very little physical abuse. Nobody knows about the physical part, because the physical part was hidden. You know, it wasn't like a black eye, it wasn't a busted lip. It was, you know, more like where clothes were covered. And this happened in 2023. I had gone through therapy. I had made peace with the situation, and then I started listening to a book last week, and as I was listening to the book, it triggered me, and it made me remember that all of the things that this man is talking about in this book is what I endured with this one man. Is what, you know, I went through, and I had to survive it. You know, I know I had to make my way out of it. And he was so good at being good. Like, it would be extra attention, like, you know, you looking good, you looking this. But on days when he was like, what you had on looked terrible, like, well, I'm about to go buy you something that I think you should wear, and it's a certain way that I expect you to dress when you come in and out of the penthouse, because there's no telling who might see you, or you reflect me, and I want baby girl to look a certain way, and right now you don't fit the bill. When I went to go visit him, I felt like I was on a vacation. So I didn't feel like I had to be all dolled up the whole entire time. But when I wasn't, you know, it would be, what's wrong with you? Why do you look that way? The natural hair doesn't even look like it's been combed. And then you letting her do her own hair, and it doesn't look good. It was all of the things that I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with me. Like, I'm on vacation. Like, at home, I already feel like there's a million eyes watching to see if I've fallen off because I've separated from my ex. So I have to make sure that my kids are always neat and put together. And, you know, I'm going to look how I'm going to look anyway. But when I go out of town to where somebody may not know me, may not recognize me, then I want to be comfortable. So if I want to put on a muumuu and walk back and forth, I should be able to do that. But he had this thing of, you should dress up every day for your man. Why dress up for people outside, and then I have to come here and see you dressed like anything? And it would always be, I don't know what your ex was used to, but I don't, my women don't do this. And I want you to know that at any time, you can't live up to my expectations, or you can't do what I need you to do, or you can't be who I need you to be, then I'll just get somebody on the side. So that's when the conversation came out, that during his marriage, he cheated several times. And one of the times that he cheated, he had a side chick, which he was providing for. And I didn't feel like a side chick. We were going out in his hometown. We had gone out a little bit in my hometown, but it wasn't one of those things where you were hot, where I felt like I was being hidden, or that, you know, I was a secret or a side chick or anything like that. I was going to his business with him. He was introducing me as his girlfriend, although we hadn't talked about titles. It was just one of those things where I was like, okay, so maybe it's just me. You know, this is new. The first night that we spent alone, there was no intercourse or anything like that. I don't even know if I could say that, but he wrote me a letter and he told me, I can't wait to show you real love. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. You know, that's interesting. I like that. But he had already, like the first date, he said, I can't wait to spoil you. And I said to him, which I say to everybody that says that, you say that now until you realize what it takes to spoil me. It's not the money, you know, although that helps. Because even when I told him, you know, I like flowers. I buy flowers for me. I buy flowers for my kids. I buy flowers for my mom. You know, everybody deserves a nice bouquet every now and then. I bought flowers for my homegirls, like, you know, everybody deserves. He said, I don't buy flowers. That's a waste of money. They die. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm expressing to you what I like, what makes me happy. Just because, and you telling me you don't, that's not something you do. And so, you know, we still going kind of strong. Of course, I've opened up to him and told him every dark secret that I've ever kept, almost. I've told him about all of the things that I had endured, you know, the things in my past that were, you know, only certain people knew about. And then I learned later that he would use those things against me. There was a situation, you know, with me and my ex, and of course I had told him about it because I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is something that I went through. It's never going to happen again. And it was, you know, that was thrown in my face later. So it was the most emotional, like, because how can you make me feel like the only most beautiful woman in the world when we're out? And when we get along, it's just me and you tear me down. You put me down. Bit by bit, he was stripping away who I was, what I believed in myself, the self-love. It was in an instance that, you know, like it went from, you know, we out and he opening the door at the restaurant, he pulling out my chair, to saying the ugliest things, you know, just real harsh. And it was to the point where I introduced him to my grandma. Nobody else had met him. Nobody. And she was like, I don't like him. I don't trust him. It's something about him. I don't like him. I don't trust him. You see how he sat over there and he didn't say much and he was just looking. And so she was like, I don't trust him. Leave him alone. I don't like him. And you know, sometimes you feel like, well, no matter who you bring home, your people not gonna like them. They're not gonna approve of them anyway. But I remember going to well, this one's gonna be long, so I'm gonna have to go to the next one.